I belong to the band.
Good afternoon, and good evening, or good night, and welcome to Technolotics, coming to you in magical video vision, or in sound, if you don't have video. I'm Branson McGillicuddy, and this is Garrett Stack. Let's go!
Or stay here, but continue.
Yes, sure.
This week's first story brought to you by Francis.
By me! Hooray! Okay, this regards Psilocybin mushrooms, or magic mushies. This week, they have been banned in Ireland and made a Class A drug by the Minister for Health, Mary Harney. Now, for those who don't know about magic mushies, they grow naturally on the earth, so they could be in your backyard if you're very, very lucky. And they've been used for religious, meditative and personal insight for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So, Mary Harney has recently, with the help of the Minister for Justice, Michael McDowell, lovely man that he is, they've closed a legal loophole in the law. And now, if you are in possession of these drugs, or taking them, happy, you're in trouble. Now, Mary Harney says, we're going to ban them because allegedly people have died. Some people have died. But if you compare this to the amount of people who die every year from alcohol, which is 1,500 people, that's quite a lot. And 48% of criminal offences are related to alcohol, as well as the 6,000 tobacco-related deaths a year. A couple of people maybe going a little loopy and climbing trees and then trying to fly because they're on magic mushies. Doesn't seem like a whole lot.
Indeed, if you compare the 2,500 deaths from obesity, which is a subject which should be very close to honey, to her heart.
I mean, it seems a little ridiculous banning it because, people might die.
They might get too excited on the magic mushrooms.
They might have fun.
You know, normally when I see Harney, I'm like, me so honey. But no, when I hear this sort of thing, I'm disappointed. I'm closing down the Mary Harney fan club. You know, it was only one member, in fairness, for a lot of years, but we have to go on.
Oh well, it's over now. Let it die.
My crush has finished.
I found it interesting that these things you used to be able to walk into a shop in certain cities in Ireland and actually buy these mushrooms.
Up until last week?
Yeah, up until last week, so you could literally go, oh, I'd like the magical mushrooms, please. It was like living in Amsterdam for a while, wasn't it?
Dream.
We can but dream.
But, you know, personal insight is a danger to society because you might think differently from the morass of kludge people who slush up our streets and cause problems with the police. And we do know how desperately in need they are of help in many ways. So
yes.
It's really a good thing that that dangerous amount of personal freedom has been taken away.
Yeah, you might be a different kind of sheep.
Floating rather than...
Yeah.
Rather than
that'd be a sheep with no legs. You'd be a cloud. Yeah. I'm a cloud.
So, put away your mushrooms. Stop eating them. As soon as you pluck them from the ground, you've broken the law, despite the fact that they grow naturally all over the earth.
Well, just when you pluck them, you've broken the law?
I guess so, yeah. You can't sell them, you can't process them, you can't take them. So I'm guessing taking them out
if they're growing on your land, then are you not technically in possession of them?
I guess you could be.
Uh-oh! Go out and stamp in some mushrooms right now. They might be magical. There might be pixies living in them.
Who knows, your cows can eat them and go crazy.
Yeah! It's a cow disease for you.
And we know who suffers from that around here. Right. Moving on to our second story of the week. This focuses on electroshock therapy, which is a traditional way of dealing with mad nutters, which has been used for quite a few years. Those of you unfamiliar with electroshock therapy, if you think back to the film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, you'll remember the giant pads hung on Jack Nicholson's head and the frying pan effect that occurred in his brain. That was electroshock therapy. It's used for the therapeutic relief of such conditions as depression, obsessive compulsive disorder, and in some cases schizophrenia. Well, this controversial condition, or treatment rather, has been superseded. A new advanced and more kind and gentle electroshock brain therapy has been developed, which uses magnetic fields instead of brutal, powerful shots of electricity in your brain. So it's kinder. It's like a fairy. It's softer on your brain. Still controversial because it still muddles with your head. And a little bit of research has shown that this could be dangerous. The reasons for this are, when you look at the areas of the brain that are believed to cause various mental problems, and which by shaking up with the magical magnetic fluids
poked with a stick, essentially,
they're hoping to cure, these are areas which do important things. So, for example, and here's the science bit, the orbital frontal cortex regulates behaviour. So, it regulates drive, motivation and emotional processing. And electrocuting this, which may indeed help with your depression, could also screw up your emotion and your ability to regulate your behaviour. So you could be farting, belching and slapping people in the face on the street and you wouldn't even know it.
Which would feel good, wouldn't
It
it?
feels fantastic. Smile from
Big
ear to
smile on your
ear.
face.
And you'd be shooting electric balls from finger to finger from the old brain juicing.
Sure, everybody needs a bit of that.
Sure, if you hadn't been brain juiced, you're missing out. It really is the old bedroom fun. If you've had a shot of electrocution in your temporal parietal cortex for schizophrenia, you might forget who you are because that encodes your memories. If you have a shot in your prefrontal cortex, just behind your frontal cortex, I'd show you, but I'd have to lift the flaps. For depression, that's in charge of alertness, fight or flight, and sexual functioning. So you might lose the ability to do all them.
So you'd be happy that you no longer get it up. So you'd be like, I'm depressed, no one wants to sleep with me. Hooray, I'm happy, I can't sleep with anyone.
So we suggest, don't get the brain electricity. Seems obvious to me.
Seems obvious.
Same reason you don't put your finger in the plug hole. It's not healthy. Our fingers were not designed to conduct large amounts of electricity, and our brains were not designed to receive huge magnetic voltages. And I can't stop talking like this, I don't know why.
It just seems like a crude and outdated way of trying to treat people. Same as with pumping full of drugs.
Or dipping them in water. What was the old thing they used to do this fantastic thing they did to cure depression. They'd wrap you in a load of blankets and dip you in water and bind you and leave you there. And then they make the water really hot and then they make it really cold, put you in different baths.
And how would that happen?
Well,
How?
a good number of patients didn't have depression anymore because they died from pneumonia
That's a cure.
and hypothermia.
Alright, sure. He's better. I don't hear him complaining.
No more whining out at him.
No more whining out to him.
Put him out the back of the others. Seems to work.
Indeed, but not exactly, an alternative to actual therapy and actually helping these people.
Do you reckon they'd recommend that electroshock thing for not stopping talking in a bogger accent?
I don't know, but you definitely get a slap and that'll be a shock in a minute.
Oh, was that some sort of gay attack? Oh, slap, slap.
Oh yeah, it was a minty slap.
Minty McFadden. Moving on to our next story.
Moving on. Now, shock, horror, Google feature again in our stories as never happens. So this week we're wondering what's happened, what have they done now? So this week they're in the news about China, where they've set up a portal which has censored results, doesn't allow you to use Gmail or blog. So this is obviously going in with China's great firewall. So they're no longer trying to keep the Mongols out, they're trying to keep all the people in.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something terribly offensive right there. Luckily narrowly avoided.
Oh, I don't even know, but I don't want to go there, we'll talk about it afterwards.
None of us do.
Anyway, so the Chinese authorities in the past have blocked access to Chinese language versions of Google, but now Google is playing ball and agreeing by the rules that China are dictating. And they state that it's the ethical price to pay to enter the Chinese market. So obviously they've been slammed by people such as Amnesty International and the BBC News, and obviously that Google are being asked, does this contradict your motto of don't be evil? Question.
Not
question
even
mark.
slightly.
Not even slightly. You're not even allowed to talk to naughty people. No. Wrong. So now they're going to work with the Chinese government to actively censor freedom of speech and access to information from beyond China that might say, oh, China are naughty. Like us, actually, yeah. We won't be found in Google China.
Oh, I seriously doubt
I doubt. So, if you're Chinese and you're seeing this,
Fair play. You've obviously
well
used
done.
underground means.
Well done, congratulations. And the people will be bursting down the door in 10 minutes once you finish viewing it.
So what's your opinion on this decision of Google's?
Ooh, well, they're being beaten by Baidu.com as a search engine in China, and China will be like the next big economy everyone keeps predicting. So you can see if you want to be an evil, if you're just a corporation interested in making money, you'll go in and go, I don't care what you tell me, I'll bend over and do all the rules just to make lots of money in China.
Do a bit of goatsy for the rules.
Yeah, exactly. So they also find themselves in a little bit of a tricky position, because it is a huge market, and to just ignore it while everyone else is jumping in is a very hard decision to make. I wouldn't be like the bean cruncher going, okay, if we don't jump in, we're losing a certain amount now, and then we're going to lose even more as time goes by, because obviously websites like Baidu will just become more and more established. It's much like Google is at the moment. It's just you Google something on the internet. Probably in China it'll be I Baidu something. Though that sounds terrible, but anyway.
Might sound great in Chinese, who knows?
It might sound great in Chinese anyway. So I can see why they would go in, even though it's, from our view, our personal viewpoint, it's a little bit unethical, supporting the government and censoring.
It really puts pay to the whole don't be evil thing, because once you go public, you can't, your shareholders and your bean counters dictate what you do and what's evil.
Yeah.
So good luck to trying to stay moral in a publicly traded company.
It's tough.
But these actions, ultimately, they can be held accountable by consumers in the West. So if you have a problem with it, complain to Google.
Complain to Google.
You'd be surprised the amount of difference that a few complaints can make in the right department.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
Give them a few giggles anyway.
exactly. But I mean, obviously, if a certain amount of people write in and complain, then that obviously means there's a certain amount. There'll obviously going to be more people who actually didn't bother, but at least it shows a groundswell against the actions. That people are against this and they don't like it, and they want the company to act in a different way, because at the end of the day, they have to try and serve their customers.
Indeed.
And if their customers don't like what they're doing and threaten to leave their business, they'll soon change their tune. So, write to Google.
Write to Google, complain, blog about it. Because, blogging, bit of contagious one. If you get a few people writing about what you're writing about, it spreads.
Yeah, and let your non-techie friends know about this as well, because many people are wholly ignorant of all this and no idea what's going on, and I'm sure they'll be interested to hear about it.
And Google Blogger, we're thinking of you. Just because you're making money from Google doesn't mean what it does is not evil.
Yes. So you're making money off evil.
Of those poor little Chinese people not being allowed to look at their favourite porn.
Yeah.
Or their democracy porn or whatever.
Democro porn. Yay! Democro porn. Freedom! 7 years ago, we had lots of sex.
Been drinking.
Haven't even been drinking. It's shocking. Anyway, another quick story about Google is there have been rumours this week on the register that they're going to launch their own operating system, which is something we've heard lots about before, and this is going to be based on Ubuntu, which is a version of Linux.
Is it Ubuntu? I thought it was Ubuntu.
Okay, bogger accent, trying to pronounce something that's
Maybe it's
in
Ubuntu.
Zulu, I think. Yes, it's a Zulu word. It means something like freedom or something like that. So, bogger accent, Zulu, they don't mix. So,
Even if
anyway,
Bogger does.
even if Bogger does. Anyway, Ubuntu is a very popular version of Linux distribution, and it's one of the fastest spreading, isn't it? I think.
It's faster than HIV.
Yes.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. Anyway, the story is that they're going to be releasing this within the company for use within the company machines. Now, and obviously, would this be a strike against Microsoft at some stage later on? Time will tell. We have our doubts.
They have denied it. Yes, Google officials have denied that they're going to produce it. You'd wonder why, because if they produce an operating system, fine, but it would surely be an online operating system. Why would they produce a local operating system? They'd have to get everyone to install it and alternative to Windows, applications wouldn't work because they'd have to support it, blah 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 blah,
Won't fix it. La 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 la.
Sounds unlikely.
Sounds unlikely, and I can't see how this is going to be any great advantage over the whatever operating systems they're using already.
Maybe just another Linux distro.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds a bit crazy just to be used within the company.
Frankly,
Spending money creating your own operating system for use within the company just sounds like a waste of money when you can just get something else in, and whatever demand off whatever people who create the operating system, be it Microsoft or Red Hat or whoever makes the operating system, that they supply the features that you want and let them be working out the bugs and all this kind of stuff, rather than you wasting your money and time and resources on it.
I think
Just seems a bit stupid.
people see Google hiring a lot of operating system that's experts and so on, and what they forget is that they have, of course, got their own operating system for their server farms and data centers, but that's a completely different thing to have a
And just
desktop
because
operating
you
system.
worked on operating systems before doesn't mean you're going to be sent in to write a desktop operating system again. Maybe, there's something related to desktops. I mean, they have, like Garrett said just there, they have their own operating system for the farms, the server farms. So maybe it's in that they're working. There's no guarantee they're working on, writing an OS. Maybe they're off working on AdWords or something like that. Who knows?
It's a bad taste in your mouth. Speaking of which, if you don't like AdWords and you're using Firefox, there's a great extension you can use called Customize Google. Install it, takes out all the ads, and adds in links to other sites like Flickr for your searches. Recommend it. Anyway, our next story goes on to speak about George Bush having silenced a climate scientist. This is a top NASA expert, James E. Hansen, who is head of one of the subsections of NASA which deals with climate research and predicting the weather patterns into the future. And he claims to have been silenced by officials in the Bush cabinet and speaking to their NASA inferiors and kind of controlled from within NASA. So he's claiming that interviews are being withheld from him and that he's being vetted for everything he's speaking. And this is after speaking out against the policy of the Bush cabinet, which is essentially to have no action to reduce pollution and no action to reduce climate changing forms of pollution and greenhouse gases, but rather to reduce or aim to reduce voluntarily the increase in greenhouse gases, which just comes to a piss off to save the environment.
They did back out of the Kyoto Agreement.
But there's anything back there too, though, so
Yeah.
can't really blame the Bush too much over that. I mean, both sides of the two-headed hydra, Democrat and Republican, have refused to do anything about climate change. So NASA deny this. They say it's simply that you can't comment on public policy if you're a NASA official. You can comment on the weather. It's changing. But you can't comment on the policy. We're going to change what we do. So it's up to yourself. What do you believe? Do you believe that Bush a guy who's behind extraordinary rendition and various other lovely policies, doesn't believe in climate change, and indeed believes in Armageddon, which is going to destroy the world when East and West fight for control of the planet, and Satan and Jesus battle it out on the on the hill of Galilee. Or do you believe NASA's leading climate change scientist, highly respected scientist? 3 seconds for that.
choices.
And apparently similar muzzling of scientists going on at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, where before you could phone up and speak to the scientists. So tell me, are we all fucked? Shit, okay, see ya. Whereas now you phone up and you get some sort of sleazy official. The party line is. So, muzzling of officials. Is that it? Oh, the screen has died. No! I thought we wanted to keep this lovely picture of Evangeline Lilly in the background. Notice the lip and tongue action going on it. But she disappeared for a second there. Now she's been restored, all her glory.
All her glory.
You can catch her every week in Lost.
Oh,
gorgeous.
if only. Chase her through the jungle.
Do you know what I think I've listened to too much Two Irish Geeks on TV, and now I'm putting on their accents. I can't help it. Have you heard this show?
No.
It's so funny. 2 boggers chatting about TV and the internet and stuff. Recommend it. I can't stop talking about it. Throw myself out of the window.
It's rubbed off.
It has rubbed off.
Across the internet.
I caught it.
You caught it.
And in more Mary Harney related news.
Anywho, okay, is obesity contagious? So if you're big and fat, it might be because you have a virus. So obviously for all you fatties out there, this is good news, because you might be able to just get an antibiotic and the pounds will melt away.
You've got another excuse. You're not lazy. Yeah. You don't eat shit. You got a virus.
Yeah.
Yay.
So 2 viruses, AD36 and AD37. Well, they really don't make up good names for viruses anymore.
Jim and Ted, we call them.
You know, Jim and Ted. I mean, you just have a good old Latin name that you cause your tongue to go.
Laurentius toxicus.
Socky waculus.
Socky locky wacky lockulus. Do you speak Latin? That doesn't sound very Latinic to me.
Latinic.
Latinual.
Latinial. Are those real words?
Yes.
I doubt it. Anyway, these 2 viruses have been found to cause obesity in animals. So they may have the same effect on human carriers. That's if humans carry them. Do humans carry them? I don't know.
They do.
Anyway, obviously screening and vaccination are still a long way off, and this kind of ties in with last week's story about viruses controlling your brain.
That was parasites.
Well, it was parasites.
Similar.
But it's a similar idea. So, you know, are the bugs and things crawling around your system affecting the way you think and the way you eat? Or maybe eat and not exercise, ever.
Personally, I do believe that, all joking aside, that there is a viral cause to things like depression. You know, I definitely think, because depression occurs all around the world, but has different symptoms in different environments. What do different environments have aside from different cultures? They have different weather and different food. So it expresses differently. And yet it doesn't seem to have a function in our evolution. And when we behave in a way that doesn't have an evolutionary purpose, you've got to wonder, why are we doing it? And if it's something that's counterintuitive, like you're behaving in a way that's going to get you less girls, effectively breed less or less, lower quality of poon, you've got to wonder why we're doing it. So I reckon that there's definitely either a viral or parasitic cause to depression. It's just a theory.
It's just a theory, and one thing that supporting scientists pointed out to this idea was that only recently has the virus that's responsible for ulcers been identified. For many years they believed nothing could survive in your stomach, but they actually found a virus which actually can survive the acid.
It's called Chuck Norris.
Yes, it's called Chuck Norris virus. It kicks your stomach to bits.
Yeah, I actually had a couple of ulcers.
Yeah? Yeah. Nasty.
That's it. No joke, I really did. It's very shit, to be honest. Wouldn't recommend it.
Thanks for sharing, Gar. See?
I'll show you the scars later. I have to tear myself open. It's worth it. Juicy.
Yummy.
On to our next story.
What about diseases?
More about diseases. I love this. If you've been out at the weekend and you slept with an immigrant or a Trinity girl. Joke! No, say supposing you've slept around and you go to your doctor, or you've only slept with one person, because it just takes one, and he says you've got knob rot, or you've got prolapse gingivitis. Go to this website. The HIV. You don't want that. Go to this website, which is inspot.org, and you can send a lovely, amusing little joke on an e-card to someone saying, I got screwed while screwing, you might have it too. This is so bad. But
What a way to find out.
I know.
An e-card.
It's like through text or something.
Ooh, Hallmark will start it soon. Definitely.
Birthdays are so passe.
You gotta have it for like the people who can't use the internet.
Maybe you can sing as well. You've got it. You've got the virus. VD. So,
VD Day.
if you receive one of these cards, you can go onto the website and get lots of information about how long it can take for your knob to rot off, etc. So, do you think this is a useful service, or is it just a sweet kind of tasteless?
It's a cop out for those who use it who don't have the guts to go. Yeah, I've been sleeping around tons. Wasn't responsible when I slept with you, and now you might have something.
But I don't know, maybe if you said it to some people that you only have email addresses. I can't even remember the names. Hi, can I speak to whoever I slept with? Yeah, it's me. You'll remember I had the purple spot in my neck.
Have their email address. Where do you go? You know, in case I catch something later on, you know, can I have your email address so I can send you this humorous e-card telling you might have it also? That'd be interesting. Oh, hold on, my taxi's here. Bye.
I've got the virus at gmail.com. Oh, you already have it? Oh, sure, there's no point in the card then.
I got it off you. Ugh.
Screw you. Double I did. That's what got me into this trouble.
Yeah, I don't like the idea.
No, it's kind of cruel. Tell them to your face. You can kind of smirk if you like, but give them the respect of saying it's their face.
Yeah, I think.
I know I did.
It's a pretty serious thing to be telling someone, and
It is.
an e-card, and with that message, I got screwed by screwing. You might have it too. It's just, it makes a mockery of a very serious situation.
Guess where this website is funded by the San Francisco Department of Health. I mean, of
Someone
course
there was
it is.
having a laugh.
Yeah, it's. I thought it was a joke at first, but it's very serious. So on to our next story.
Let's get some people's emails and send them to them. Hilarious.
Yeah, your ex-girlfriend. Yeah.
Anywho, wireless. 10 times faster is our next story. Super fast wireless is on the way. The IEEE have approved a proposal for 802.11n wireless standard, which will aim to have a maximum speed of 600 megabits per second.
Yeah, it's not going to be megabytes anyway.
Better data rate consistency, which might be fast enough and reliable enough to allow for high bandwidth applications like... Why am I talking like this? I don't know. Anyway, like multiple HD video streams with surround sound, so you're like down at your internet cafe and suddenly you throw on a good movie or something streaming.
But you do it without breaking privacy laws because it's a
Of
Creative
course,
Commons
of
movie.
course, yeah. Or Technolotics and super surround sound.
In super high definition one day when we get the big camera
Yeah,
and we have the studio that isn't sort of a bit of a wreck
and someone to hold the camera and do all the stuff for us.
and a cameraman who isn't non-existent.
Yeah, look, hi Bob. She's imaginary. Anyway,
This could be pretty cool.
it can be pretty nice, but it's just faster wireless.
Yeah,
it's
not
not
much
exactly revolutionary. I'd be more interested to hear that they actually got WiMAX or something working.
WiMAX.
Yeah.
Is that a pie in the sky? I think
Pie in
so.
the sky, is that a flying pig? Quite possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, well, super wireless. I wouldn't mind just some regular wireless, but
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Do it
Any
super
kind of wireless would be very nice.
Trinity,
Wireless.
Trinity College, not the best wireless, I have to say. You wander in college, it works here, it works there. Who knows where to work next week? Who knows where to work today? It's literally a case of if I move my laptop. Oh,
2 inches.
can you hold it up in a foot in the air and outside like this? It's not great. Not a fully wireless campus, really, to be honest.
No.
Not
So
that I have a
it'll be,
laptop.
it'll be a faster
If I did.
semi-wireless campus. Hooray!
Rock. That's the show, really. You have some media pimps. Well, Francis doesn't. She can have one of mine. Have this one. Oh, no, don't. Have this one. Oh, no, you haven't read it. Have you?
I haven't read it.
No, you can't read it.
Oh.
First,
Pimp.
is indie games. There's some links on Wired. I'm downloading one of them now. Various indie games. Indie games, of course, taken off in recent years, with publishers becoming more conservative about what they'll finance. The independent games industry have tried to experiment a little bit. So you can download some free games. Some of them are fun, some of them are not. And they're free anyway, and don't break any laws. So if you want to play with some experimental games which test the boundaries of fun, try that. Great News Network, what a website. Go on to greatnewsnetwork.org and it lists the good news. So if you're tired of being depressed, you can have your daily RSS of good news.
Good news.
Good news.
Wow, that's brilliant.
It is actually, does put a smile on your face when you, but it's bad when there's like no news today. It's all shit.
The world is shit. There is nothing good today.
Yeah, but you know.
Then like you can have a really good day, but like you can be pretty bad, and then you look at the good news, and you're like, oh,
It's nice. And the last one is Memepool, and this is a little kind of a thing. It's kind of like Boing Boing. It's from the guy who created Delicious, and it's got a few contributors, and they each put up links. And really interesting kind of stuff that you really don't see anywhere else on Coruscant or Boing Boing or anything like that. So check that out. That's everything. All that remains is for us to get naked over ourselves in oil and make the other podcast. That's subscription only.
yes.
We hope you enjoyed episode 24.
4.
We've got an unhealthy glow sitting there, but I'm out in the air. That's your desktop background. I want to shut you down, let you sleep. A kind of electric shaped out the field, peels away in planes. I feel too deep, it's sorry.